Hey everybody, всем привет. This will be a quick update. I worked some this afternoon on the fog of war, and I previously demonstrated this. This is my current build. I previously demonstrated a little bit of the hero moving around. Well, I've added in animation, and I've added in some flags on the heroes and the ability to move around, and even the hero can run around on some water, which is, not what it's supposed to do, but we don't have our collision detection fully sorted out yet. Oh, there's a bug. I found one. Yes. It's so close. We're gonna do a little bug capture here. So there we go. We're going back, looking. I'm just running around looking for bugs, seeing if I can find anything. It's pretty robust right now. I was playing around with this earlier and I did not find any bugs. So I'm glad I caught that one, because there's just the fog of war is probably good enough for, call it a beta release. There's still plenty more features that need to be added into this. But we're getting there. We're getting to the point where we probably don't need to do too much more work here. And so I'm just kind of showing off, like, most of this is working as intended, except for this one bug that I found here. This guy right here, where this tile, so this tile should be, this little snippet shouldn't be there. So I think that this tile here is probably tile 000, and that should probably be tile 24. So that's what I'm going to tell the AI after this. I guess maybe I could even do it in this video. We'll see. But I was going to show you guys what I did to get this running. And when I started out, I had much worse bugs. I fed into the AI my game main, my map functions, the spec for these partial tiles for the fog of war. These are like the offsets and any width functions. A lot of these are 32 by 32, but not all of them. And these are also just the full tiles of fog of war that don't have any edge character to them. And I gave it my previous fog lookup function, and also this is kind of my notes on the fog of war that I had exported, like a markdown file from my last implementation. So I just fed in this information plus a little bit of notes from the rendering phase of how the fog of war is rendered in the overlay. And then I fed it these 4 bugs. Like this one here, this is tile 6, that should be tile 8. So this is a 6 that should be an 8. And this has this same little bug here too, where this one is tile 2, and that should probably be like a tile 25, I think. Is that what that was? No, this one. No, actually that's not quite right. It should have the little byte taken out of the top. So it's not 25, it is 26. So this tile 26 has this little byte out of the top corner, and that's what should be here. This little tiny piece here should be carved out. This one, similarly, that little tiny piece should be carved out. So that is, let's see, that is, well, it's almost 30, but it's the mirror opposite of 30. So this would maybe be 30 mirrored unless there's another tile for that, which I'm not seeing. So this should probably be 30 mirrored. This one, this is tile, I think that's tile 25, but mirrored. So tile 25 here, but it's mirrored incorrectly. And then we need this kind of peninsula piece that I called this. So we need a 6 there as well. So these are the kinds of bugs that I was identifying. And this one I think is maybe a 7. Yeah, so a 7 but mirrored needs to go in this spot here. And see that the little byte has been taken out there, so we don't need to worry about that one. That's correct, that tile. So so what I would do for these is take screenshots of each image, and then I would pass in these sort of 3x3 maps of what was incorrect and what was correct. And I did that for each bug, and it took a little bit of time to get that put together, but it analyzed, the AI analyzed what I gave it and started masking things. It called it generating the neighbor masks and came up with some fixes, some proposed solutions, and then gave me a little explanation of them, which I didn't really bother to read that closely. I mainly just downloaded the code, popped it in, and wanted to check if it worked. Now, I then ran it again, and I looked to see, okay, what are we, how's it performing? It was better, but I was still seeing weird bugs. Like this one here is, this looks like tile 25, yep. And that should actually be probably like a tile, let's see, which one was that? This needs to be inverted, so we need the byte out of the top and flipped over, because this corner wouldn't reflect well there. So we wanted to convert that to to 26. So yeah, just mirror 26 on that. So that's what the problem was with this one. And you'll also see there's a tiny little blob here that's incorrect. So this looked like the similar issue here, and this is actually just a little bit higher up. But on the other side, I was able to repeat this same bug, but I also saw a slightly like a very similar little bug here, where this is carved out. And so what that actually translates to is it's kind of like 32, but with an extra piece on the corner up there. So I would actually probably say that is like a 26 that should be mirrored. That's how I would suggest to the AI that it fix that. This is a classic one that I've seen a lot, where that is the number 6 that should be a number 8. So a 6 to an 8 conversion here would fix this. I don't see any other little, oh actually no, there is a little divot problem here too, where this one, this should be a 26 tile, I believe. So we need this little byte missing out of that. If you see this little piece right by the sawmill there, that needs to be carved out to make it smoothly transition. This one here, there's a little piece that needs to be carved out. So this needs to be a 25. You'll see, notice the little missing piece. So this tile here needs to be a 25, and then this tile down here needs to be I think a 6, was it? Yeah, it needs to be a 6 for the bottom. So I gave it this whole setup here, gave it the bugs with these maps. Again, it makes neighbor masks, runs through some fixes. I kind of glance over it, it seems okay, and I pull down the fog lookup function, update it, rerun the code, test it again. Here we got another 6 that needs to be an 8, and actually this tile here in the middle, this is a mirrored 14, but it should actually probably be a mirrored 28. You see this? So this little sharp corner here needs to also change. I don't know if I made a note of that in my, oh no, I did, yeah. Yep. So I noted that this needs to be the mirrored 28. So I was paying attention. This one here is 31. And that just needs to be, again, a 6. So the 31 needs to go to 6. That fixes this bug. I submitted this, and if you'll notice here, I said there's 4 more bugs, but I only submitted 2. That's because sometimes with the chat interface, I end up hitting enter too early. So I stopped it, submitted a couple more bugs. This is another 6 that needs to be converted to an 8, and then there's 2 little bites coming out of this guy. And so this needs to be a 28, and the one below it, this one, the one down even below that probably needs to be one of these, a 24. So I don't know if I actually documented that in there. This is just another 6 that needs to convert to an 8, and this is also another 6 that needs to convert to an 8. So anyway, I ran through those, got another fog lookup, did another screen capture of some more bugs, just ran my hero around the map seeing if I could generate some new bugs. This is another 6 that needs to convert to an 8. And another 6 that needs to convert to an 8. And this is, I think, what was it, a 31 that needs to convert to a 6. And then a 6 that I already said that. A 6 converted to an 8. So, again, I posted all of these here. Works out the masks. Gives me another fog lookup. I run around yet again. I think I'm on my 4th or 5th pass. Lost count. And I found yet another bug. Now this one's pretty minor because just this is 32, and it just needs to be mirrored the other way. So this was pretty easy. It said, well, we just have these backwards, so let's swap these in the logic, and that should be pretty good. And I tested it, and I couldn't really find any other bugs. Just now in this video, I found that tiny little corner piece bug that most people wouldn't notice, but I've been kind of tuned to this after staring at this for a couple hours. And so I'm going to work on fixing that right after I stop recording this. But anyway, once I finish this, then like what I like to do, it's kind of good practice for using the AI stuff, is after I do a bunch of debugging, testing, I get something that's kind of functional, then I want to create some comments, not necessarily in the code, but just like a markdown file that kind of explains at a high level what's going on, how it works, what kinds of weird bugs or things we encountered, what's kind of the secret sauce of the logic. And I do that so that if I need to run it through the AI again, I have a pretty good summary that gives it good context of kind of what's been done and where things might be a little fuzzy. And that lets the AI get up to speed much quicker, and it's a much more efficient use of tokens and time, and you're more likely to just get a right answer when you have good context and good documentation. In the real world, in engineering projects, you're supposed to document things, and you probably have a pretty hit or miss actual execution of that in real engineering organizations. So you may or may not have documentation for some of these things, and it's so fast and easy and cheap to just generate a quick document of like a summary of what you just did and what you just built. And so it made some notes here, and that was pretty much the end of it. So I've got one bug to fix here, and I'm just going to take a moment and see if I can find yet another one. And I'll have to work on collision detection next. That's coming in a future video. Just going to walk through town, walk right through these griffins. Oh, yep. Hey, look, I see it again. I see it again. And I think it's a very similar piece. So I'm going to screenshot that as well. Okay, so I have been testing a little further after I found one of the bugs. And with basically, I kept offering up more bugs, and the AI started adding other bugs, and I was like, huh, you know, I probably need to do something a little bit smarter than just trusting the AI to be smart. So what I actually did was I sat down and I created what I called a fog of war mapping. So I mapped each of these values. So if you look at like 0000, that maps to 24 if there's a view, if there's an open tile in the southeast corner. So if there's an open view here, then this basically becomes 24. And then if it has a view in the southwest, then it would be 24 but mirrored horizontally. Same thing, 002. If it has a view in the southwest, it becomes 25. If it is mirrored, if it has a view in the northwest, it becomes 26. And I also had 002 mirrored, but a view in the southeast, that basically becomes 25 mirrored. So I specified with this level of detail all the way up through 33. I basically started at 11, which was... So actually I didn't start at 11, I started at 15, where basically all of these little corner bytes, these were the ones that were messing up and causing this bug. So the first 14 or so were actually being pretty reasonably well handled. So the AI basically got it working for those first 14, but then everything after that was just a little bit too complicated for it to determine with the bitmaps. For these like nearest neighbors structures, and so I had to write out this map, and as soon as I wrote this mapping out, it pretty much got it. So you know, these are the kinds of bugs I was running into, where this is basically like a 14 mirrored, and this is like a 3 mirrored, and so this 3 should have actually become like a 25. This 14 should have become a 28 mirrored, and this is a 13. This should have become a 27. So, you know, this logic fixed that by detecting the views in the other windows or in the other neighbor slots. So I called out another mix and said, "You're better than this at logic. Please fix it." Didn't work. So I basically gave up, wrote out the logic that it needed to use, and then it immediately put it to use. And then I still found one bug. I still found this bug here and called it out. You know, I was having to do really weird testing to try and find these edge cases. And it detected that it had some old logic where it was checking 2 corners, northeast and southeast, northwest and southwest, and that was from earlier logic. So as soon as it cleaned that out, I downloaded this, threw it in, and now we're seeing pretty good results. So don't actually have it pulled up, but why don't I just pull it up quick, and let's do a quick run through it. So zooming through all of the fog of war here, and let's start moving our barbarian around and just see if we can find any bugs. Alright, well, still going. Let's see if we can trick something into happening here. Nope. Looking clean. I think we might have cracked the fog of war finally, so that's good. There's so much more to do, so anyway, we will pause it there. Fog of war is pretty much solved.